ecologist that started when I was really young with my first red ear, and I've pretty much had turtles ever since at home. And my primary passion and my purpose in this world is actually to try to breed the really rare species in hopes of maintaining those captive collections. So I'm going to speak to you about the work that I've done with Cuora galbinifrons. I've had the pleasure of working with this very beautiful and rare species for 10 years. And I've been told that I've been quite successful. So I suggested that I would share my experiences with you in hopes that if you're working with this species, not having much luck, I might be able to share something that I'm doing that you're not, that might help you have success. So Cuora galbinifrons is rated in the top 40 most endangered species. So that was in 2011. It's CITES too. It's an Asian species, so its distribution includes Vietnam, Laos, southern China, and Hainan Island. The North American stud book have 6.10.2 pure galbinifrons registered currently. But they also have some what we're calling Hainensis interbreeds, so it's galbinifrons that have Barretti influences, and they're still not too sure how to work this group into the stud book. My group, I believe, two or three are pure galbinifrons, and the other ones, they think they might have some Barretti influences, but I believe that they have registered them as pure galbinifrons in the stud book. So my group was imported in 2002. I started off with 3.3.0. They were imported directly out of Hainan Island through a distributor in the United States. I was told that they originated from Hainan Island, on which the stud book then confirmed after that they most likely were, so I'm happy. They automatically received treatment against protozoal, bacterial, and viral infections, which is a must when dealing with any market origin Asian turtle or African or any other, I want to say illegally traded or market tortoise or turtle. They responded quite well to the treatment. It was very hard and long, but all of them came through. Unfortunately, about 2 years later, lost one of my males. But he looked old. He had all the signs that he was a very older individual. And he didn't give me any previous symptoms that he was ill. So I think he was just died from old age or some random thing, or maybe one of these viruses that we still don't know 100% about. But my other individuals are doing very, very well today. So my males are averaging, my males, last time I weighed them, were 722 and 742 grams. So they're pretty big. And my females between 829 and 1242. So here, I forgot, you'll see the pictures. I included little pictures because they're beautiful. Okay? So this is Blossom, one of my females, the large one, the one at 1242. This is Rose, named because she's extremely beautiful, but she was very, very difficult to work with. I pretty much wasn't able to confirm her gender until about 3 months into her acclimation process because I just couldn't see her. To get her out of her carapace, I was submerging her in water. And those were in my earlier days of treatments. I've developed better skills since. She was very nervous in the beginning, and she still maintains a very cautious eye when I'm around, as you can see in the picture. So, this is going to be like a very basic description of what I do. This is the adult enclosure. So, can you hear me if I talk without the mic? Okay. So, this is the enclosure. It's 1 meter by 2 meters approximately, and I will say that I find it small. Okay. It's not a species that will move a lot, but I would prefer having something a little bit bigger, but I work with these turtles in my house, so this is all I can offer them right now. They're kept on hemlock mulch, which is a mulch that's easily accessible in my area. That's neither cedar and neither pine. They have a very large water basin. Actually, I increased the size of this water basin just recently, and they will spend a lot of time soaking in it. And I use these little plastic spools as hide spots, so they kind of just hang out there. And then I have the pothos plant, just to add natural look to the enclosure. They have a spot lamp that's
got fluorescent bulbs. One's a full spectrum UVB, and the other one is just a standard generic sunlight type bulb.
I keep the juveniles in a very different method than I keep the adults.
I actually base this method based on how I raise my North American box turtles. So I keep them aquatic, and depending on their age, they'll start off in these Rubbermaids up top here with a heating pad underneath the elevated side. And at about 6 to 8 months, depending on their growth, they'll be bumped down to these two aquatic enclosures. So these aquariums are on a slant. They're heated, and they're filtered, and they have a spot lamp. And they also have a 5.0 UVB and a daylight type bulb over them. The water's maintained at about 27, 28, and the spot gets about 30, 31, 32. I actually don't see the juveniles basking very often. They just happen to be basking in this, or on the land area in this picture, because I put them all there. I don't remember exactly why, but here I have some, these are some 2011s, and this is a 2009. And this is the cuddle bone. Oops. Cuddle bone there. All my turtles get cuddle bone as it all the time. The babies, so if we're looking at diet, the babies and the adults are fed almost the same. It's just the frequency that's different. My babies are fed 5 times a week. A usual Monday to Friday, but sometimes I'll do a Monday to Thursday and a Saturday, depending on the age, so that they don't go to 2 days when they're young without any caloric intake. But as they get older, I'll do a Monday to Friday. So the babies are started on Zoomed Reptis sticks. I like Zoomed, all I'm going to say. I don't really like the Reptis sticks in color, but I'm getting really good success using them right now. As soon as they're old enough, though, I put them on the growth formula, which I also like a lot by Zoomed. And the babies, that's all they get. They don't get anything else, just the pellets, until they're moved to a terrestrial enclosure. Once they're moved to a terrestrial enclosure, or my adults, they're fed the Zoomed growth formula also, and they have ad lib access to the pellets in the bowl. And they'll actually just go up and sit themselves at the bowl and just sometimes they'll sit themselves on the bowl so the other girls can't get into it. And you know, I'm saying this because everyone thinks of galbins as really nervous and shy and secretive and only taking live foods. They're not. They're just like any other of my box turtles that I have. The adults, they'll have the ad lib growth formula, and once a week I'll give them seasonal fruits and vegetables, but a whole fruit or vegetable. Like Halloween season, I'll grab pumpkins and just cut it up in huge chunks and just throw it in, as you can see here. These are my 2 males. I have Simon above there, and I have Blue there. So they're munching down on some pumpkin. Whole corn, apples, pears, I'll just throw it in, and they'll just kind of work at it, give them enrichment. Fine. And if I don't have access to a seasonal fruit or vegetable for various reasons, I'll replace that meal with a Missouri tortoise chow that's been soaked. And as I mentioned earlier, they'll have ad lib access to cuddle bone. So yearly cycle, they pretty much received almost the same cycle as most of my other Asian and North American box turtles. So if I were to separate the cycle into 2, I would have moist summers and a drier, cooler winter. The only real difference between how I treat my galbinifrons compared to my other say my Cuora marginata or my North American box turtles is the galbinifrons are not moved to my cold room during winter. They're cycled in the main turtle room. That generally gets a drop in temperature and lighting. So the winter season is October to March, where the temperatures hover between 18 and 23 Celsius. The food availability is pellets only, ad lib from the bowl, and I do see a reduction in appetite and consumption. I will stop soaking the substrate. I forgot to mention, in the adult enclosure, I will soak at every bowl cleaning, or once a week or twice a week. I'll soak half the enclosure. So half will be dry and half will be wet. I will stop doing that in the winter. And the entire room receives a gradual reduction in lighting, which starts with the shutting off of the spot lamps, and then I shut off the fluorescents. And at that point, they're only receiving natural sunlight from the window. And in my region, December, we have 8 hours a day and 16 hours a night. We hit around the 20th of December. Summer season starts in April. So generally around March, I'll start turning the fluorescent lights back on. April, the spot lamps go back on. I've already started seeing increased reproductive activity before that time. My summer temperatures will be between 24 and 32, depending, like right now, midsummer. My entire room is in the 30 to 32 range without any supplemental heating. The food availability is returned to, as I mentioned in my previous slide. Half the enclosure, again, is maintained moist, and the lighting is increased to a maximum of 15 hours a day and 9 hours a night. I don't cycle the juveniles. Unless my intention is to breed an animal, I don't cycle it. Here's a lovely picture. Again, I have my, this is Simon on top of Blossom, and you can really see a very lovely thing, which I've seen with this species. She's obviously receptive. Her tail is right up, waiting for copulation. Nesting, very unusual, and I really have a hard time believing that this species does this in the wild. Very shallow nest. They basically just move the substrate over a bit. They drop the egg, and then they'll just kind of stuff all the substrate on top, and we'll usually see the top of the egg once the turtle is finished and is walking off. Thankfully, though, the eggs are large, and they're hard-shelled, very hard-shelled, like a chicken egg. So I'm assuming that's an adaptation to the fact that they don't bury their eggs very deep into the substrate. Turtle eggs will band shortly, about a week, 10 days, and they'll get a nice thick band along the middle. You can see in this picture here. Okay. And my group, they'll lay 2 clutches, 1 to 3 eggs. It's actually just Blossom, the big female, that'll lay the 3 eggs. The other two females that are smaller will lay 2 eggs. And the clutches are usually separated by 5 to 7 weeks. Incubation, exact same method as I use for Cuora flavomarginata. So I use moist sphagnum moss. I'm trying to produce females using incubation temperatures known for flavomarginata to produce females. So I do the first month at 30, and then the 30 degrees Celsius, and then the remainder of the incubation period is at 27 or below. The hatchlings are very slow to emerge, and they'll start hatching 70 to 90 days after laying. And like I said, I don't know if this could be considered successful or not. I've had a 51% hatch rate. Normally, if the eggs band, they will hatch. So the other 49% is probably because the eggs were infertile. So you can just see on the chart annual eggs deposited and how many had hatched. The hatchlings accept pellet food very quickly, just like any other of my captive bred box turtles. I don't give them any other option. I don't give live food. They're on pellets day 1. Very hardy, very outgoing once they start eating with appetite. They're the type that will run right up to you when you come up in front of the aquarium. And I'll keep them aquatic. I'm saying 3 to 4 years because my older group, they're 3 years now. I tried transferring them to terrestrial, but they kind of just jammed themselves in the corner and didn't move for a week. So I moved them back to the aquatic, and they're as happy as can be. So I'm still keeping them aquatic at this point. Behavioral notes, interspecific aggression was rarely seen. I actually keep Mahudi in with them too, and there's no problem. Usually the aggression is Mahudi towards galbinifrons. I keep the females and males together most of the year, but lately I'm going to change that. The males are quite persistent to the point where my females are always in the water bowl. I think trying to avoid the males. So now I've actually taken the males out, and the females are going to be getting like conjugal visits with the males. There's also another reason which I'll mention in the conclusion on why I decided to do that. There's vocalization during courtship. The adults are not very active, and captive bred babies, like all turtles actually, appear to be a lot more outgoing and hardy than the adults. So the conclusions, what I've learned over the past 10 years is, acclimation was very, very long. But I've had very few issues. I haven't had any problems. I'm just deworming, that's about it. 50% hatch rate, is that good? Is that bad? Who knows? Why were those 49% of the other eggs not fertile? Well, I'm wondering if it's incubation issues, but the eggs would have started off fertile and just not developed. Improper cycling, maybe I'm not cooling them enough. That's something to look at. Or maybe just lack of actual copulation. Like I said, the males were very, very persistent, but they kind of got distracted, especially with the two males together. The male would start working on one female, and then would see the male and go, oh no, I got to do something about him, and run off to go after the other male. But then he'd see that female there, and start with her, and then, that one's better. So that's why I decided to just separate the males and give them their conjugal visits to hope to increase actual populations. Thank you very much. I'll take one question. If not, I'll be around. And if anyone wants my card, I'll give you my card. You can send me emails anytime if you have any questions.